Held is a 2020 film that was written by Jill Aubrey, who's actually one of the actresses in the film. She stars alongside Bart Johnson, who's playing her husband in this film. You might recognize him as Troy Bolton's dad in the High School Musical trilogy. And ultimately, this is the next film that I'm taking a look at my Escape Room Mechanics series. Let's get cracking. So this movie is ultimately about a married couple that spends a little bit of time at an isolated vacation rental, maybe to chill out a little bit, maybe to help out their marriage a little bit because it's at odds end. But while there, they are locked inside this vacation rental and held hostage by this masked menace with a deep voice that commands their every moves and demands their obedience. If at all the plot of this film sounds familiar, it's because it is. Just a few weeks ago, I talked about the film The One I Love, which is exactly the same thing. You're talking about a couple, a married couple that spend time at a vacation rental where things go crazy, but technically that's where the similarities end. Now, if you have seen Jordan Peele's Get Out, you've also seen this movie. Now, where Get Out was more of an ancient, kind of crazy outlook on race and how we treat people of color, Held's kind of the same thing, you know? It's an archaic, kind of crazy way that we look at relationships as a whole. The killer has an idea in the back of his head as to how marriages should work. Basically what you see in Leave It to Beaver or I Love Lucy, or anything in that time period. In the 50s, you know, where chivalry wasn't dead. Basically, the killer is completely against a woke nation, but at the same time, he has a very flawed viewpoint of it. He believes that women should subject themselves to their husbands and do everything that their men tell them to do. They should cook and take care of and put on makeup and blah, 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 while the husband should open the doors for them and whatever, you know? And, you know, it's all fine and dandy until people start getting hurt. I honestly really like this movie. I wasn't so sure of it when it first started out because I was like, performances aren't as strong as they could be, but the more that it played out, the more I was getting myself invested in what was going on with these characters and this setup and how it was all going to end, because honestly, I wasn't really sure how it would all end. There's some twists and turns that the film takes. I mean, in terms of Escape Room Mechanics, this is much more Escape Room than The One I Love was, but The One I Love is technically a movie that I think was made better than this. That's not to say that this film was made poorly, however, it is a lot more simplistic. It's a lot less thought-provoking, I would say. It's a little bit thought-provoking because I guess a part of the entire idea here is to make you consider how crazy some of the things that we used to do back in the 50s were by today's standards, but also the way that it's executed isn't always thought-provoking. It's more of an entertainment thing than making you really desire to have a discussion about it. It's not as deep as it probably thinks that it is. The concept is, the foundation is, but they didn't take all the potential of that foundation and concept and utilize it as effectively as possible. They wanted instead to be more on the entertaining side, more on the side of the stuff that you see in Get Out. And that's fine too, for what it is, it works. In terms of everything else, on the technical side of things, it's not that impressive. It's very, very standard, I would say. Very standard cinematography, very standard editing, very standard performances. Nothing stands out too much there. It's all about the story. It's all about the entertainment, some of the action as well. Definitely wants to get you with suspense and tension, but suspense and tension work a little bit better when you're more prepared to tell a compelling narrative that's more than on the surface stuff, which sometimes I felt like Held was. Overall, there's not much more to say about this film. I enjoyed it. I did. I wouldn't mind watching it again down the line, but like almost every other film that I've reviewed in this series, I'm going to be giving it a B+ because it's right up there. You know, it is entertaining. It's fun. There's nothing wrong about it, you know? It did what it sought out to do, but at the same time, you know, it won't be winning awards. It's not likely to hit very many people's radars, and that's okay. It is what it is. But I'm curious, guys, if you have seen Held. Are you a fan of this movie? Do you prefer some others that are kind of like it, such as The One I Love? Let me know. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next Escape Room Mechanics series review. And until then, peace out!